slow to come out and to shine the bright lights that we are, to live that St. Francis prayer, you know? So I want us to look at that and play around with that idea today. Dr. Holmes says, we can never meet a bigger or a greater God than the one we can conceive of in our own thought. In our own thought. I couldn't sleep this morning. Woke up around 3 o'clock. And I said, what shall I do? Oh, we have a whole bunch of Science of Mind Archives and Library Board has produced a bunch of audio tapes of This Thing Called Life, Ernest Holmes' original show. And so I thought, I haven't previewed these. So I started listening to one. And he was talking about this one about the flow of divine energy. And in this talk, he talked about the water flow. I think he was thinking about the Owens Valley and the water coming into LA, because he was talking about the water flow and the gravity flow of water and how it runs downhill. And there is a force that will move the water through the pipes, right? And it doesn't matter whether the pipes are going up and over mountains or around valleys or whatever, as long as the source is higher than the destination, right? But here's the thing that really got me about this talk. If the pipe is a 5-inch pipe, that's a 5-inch flow of water. If it's a 1-inch pipe, that's a 1-inch flow of water. So I ask you, how big is your conduit of divine energy? How big is your connection to spirit? Are you running through life with floss size flow? Then you might be thinking, this may be a hint as to why things aren't unfolding for you the way you may want. Do you have an inch pipe? Do you have a 5-inch pipe? Do you have a Roman aqueduct size flow of water? You have the ability to choose that for yourself. We have that ability all we need to do is to conceive of a bigger or a greater God. And the bigger or greater God is our connection to that divine source. It's our connection to that flow. And you may wake up one day with a parking spot between Bill Stout and Warren Olney. Who, by the way, Warren Olney is one of the most classiest journalists ever in the business. I don't think he's on his show anymore. But the idea about reserve for me came down to this thought that it's all right here. Everything is already here. You know, at the time that Socrates was doing his wonderful questioning on the porch in Greece, he could have had porch lights. He didn't have to have candles because electricity was out there, but they didn't know anything about it. But it was already there available for us, you see. When Michelangelo was painting on the Sistine Chapel or doing those great designs, oh my goodness, he could have done 3D printing because it was available, but it wasn't there now. It wasn't there at the time. You know, he could have done CAD design. Think how easy that Sistine Chapel would have been if he'd had a CAD design to do it. But no, he had to use his raw talents. Or Da Vinci. Look out, Steve Jobs. If Da Vinci had had the kind of technology that Steve Jobs had, he could have been the first Steve Jobs. Maybe in a way he was. But this is the point of transformation. Everything is already there in potential, and we are the expressions. We are that creative energy of all. You see, God is, we talk about God all the time, particularly here on Sunday. I guess that's our job. But anyway, so, but God really ain't nothing. That's why they call it the great no thing. God becomes something because of us. We're what makes God something. That's why we are co-creators. God really doesn't do very much by himself. It needs something to have it happen, and we're the ones that are having it happen, you see? So all this source material that is the divine is waiting for us to take what's already here, to take what's reserved for us, and to quit being slow about the rollout, to actually claim and stand in the space of who and what we are and take the talent and create a go-kart that goes fast, right? Or take some old van and turn it into something nice. You know who I'm talking about. Or maybe it's to make the music and take a prayer and turn it into a song. My goodness. This is what we're here to do, to step out there, to write poetry, to write books, just to raise beautiful, darling kids who grab the mic on Sunday and go, "Hi, I'm Ethan." I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what our journey is all about. You see, Peter thinks that he had to come and fix the internet this week because it was broken. No, I broke it just because I wanted to see how creative he is in fixing it. No, I didn't really do that. But I'm so glad you came in and fixed it, because now we have a Facebook connection off of my phone. It's working great, man. It's working great. But it's already there. And think about the porch light and Socrates. You know, Ben Franklin was dealing with that. He was thinking about that. Electricity was already around, and he thought, I think I'm going to try this thing with this electricity. But what do? I have a problem. You see, he recognized that something was happening with lightning. You know the whole story, right? Ben Franklin, the cloud, and the kite, and the key. And why is everybody looking at me like, no, they don't? You know that, right? But you know why that happened? Do you know why it happened that he was doing the kite with the key? Because he recognized that the electricity was way up there, and he thought if I could get high enough, I could do it. But Philadelphia at the time had no tall buildings, so he couldn't get up on a tall building, and he was thinking, well, what could I do? I've got this silk handkerchief, and I got this key, and I got some string. I'll make a kite. It'll go up there because I can't get up there with the building. What ingenuity, right? And then next thing you know, he creates his biggest creation, the lightning rod, because people's houses were literally burning down because they were getting hit by lightning. But then the lightning rod grabs the lightning, sends it to the ground, and the house is saved. Bing! Good thing for Ben. See, in every idea, every seed idea has a deed within it. The deed is in the seed. What seed are you carrying around in you that has been reserved, been holding back, but it's reserved for you to allow it to express in life? What deed is held within the seed of your great idea? How are you going to make God real through the experience of your life? Dr. Holmes says, we should always be breaking down old patterns of thought and creating new ones of a greater vision. I do it. I don't know about you guys, but I get stuck in my habits, you know? I mean, just simple habits. And these talks, they make me switch up stuff all the time. Now, I like grapes in my cereal, and I like to take the grape and cut it the long way. This week, I cut it the short way. Just so that I could break a stinking old pattern, you know? I mean, but it's crazy. We get into these patterns of doing stuff the same way all the time, and then we wonder why great ideas aren't unfolding, because we're not twisting our brain and flexing our mind muscle to come up with the new ideas. We need to create the space within our lives for new ideas to unfold. Think outside the box. And sometimes inside the box. Where was I saw that somebody said, oh, it was Modern Family last night. Tangent. And the guy, the father on Modern Family, the real estate agent guy, he goes, I think inside the box. You know why I think inside the box? Because most people are outside the box, so inside the box is empty. Whatever, dude. But if you can think about what patterns that you're just stuck in. Think about what patterns of thought. What person have you not forgiven, and you're still replaying the resentment that caused you to not forgive them in the first place? What pattern of thought are you holding on to that says, I gotta keep going to this job that I hate? Wow. Why are you even going to the hate part about the job? There's something there to express. And if you can go in there with love, somebody might walk in the door and tell you, you know what, I got another job for you because you look like you're having such a good time here, but I think what you're really doing could be better done for me. And you leave and you find the best job you've ever thought you could ever have, like I did when I came here. I thought things were working great at Founders. I was really happy there. And they called and said, hey, you should put your name in for candidacy out here. And I thought, let me try that. Let me see your financials. Let me look at your board reports. I read everything about this place, and I was like, I can't wait to come out here and audition. Oh, okay, or candidate, whatever they called it. But you liked me, and you accepted me, and boom, we're jamming. That's the way this stuff works. But you got to break the old patterns. I thought I was so happy where I was, and I didn't think I could be any happier. I'm happier. Amazing. This is how this stuff works, you know? Step outside of whatever that old pattern is, and something new will unfold for you because it's already in you. It's already in you, waiting to come out, waiting to unfold. The God experience becomes real through you expressing the truth of who you are. You see, within this universe, there are infinite possibilities. When I was working on the talk last night, I wrote down infinite potential, and then I realized, nope, I can't use that word anymore, right? Remember Grandpa Booster, my grandfather? Boy, you got potential. You know what that means? You ain't doing nothing yet. So I didn't want to we're not living in infinite potential anymore. We're living with infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. There was this immigrant that came to the United States, crossed through Ellis Island, came from Eastern Europe, living now in New York. He decides to get something to eat. He's living in this little nice neighborhood. There's a cafeteria on the corner. Walks in, sits down. He sees people going by with food, but he's got none. No waitress, nobody comes over. Finally, somebody says to him, "It's a cafeteria." "Yeah, so you just go up there with your tray, and you get what you want, and you pay for it." He goes along, and he's like amazed at all the assortments of food that are available. He pays at the end. He sits down. Interesting idea. Everything is available for you. You just got to pay the price. You got to walk the cafeteria line and load up your tray with all the things you need, and then the good arrives. Because we live in this infinite space of pure potential. In fact, each and every one of us is at the center of this space of pure potential. That means that everything you need is either in front of you or alongside of you or up or down, below you or behind you. It's all right here. Just like you can just pull it all in. Try it out. Think about it. Close your eyes for a minute. Close your eyes for a minute. Okay, now, we're thinking about infinity. So, think up, past the ceiling, up, infinity, past the skies, past those beautiful clouds out there, up into space, past all the planets, up. It's infinity. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay, come back to you, and then go down the same way, through the molten earth, come out on the other side, back into space, down, on into infinity. Come back to you. Do it to the left. Do it to the right. In front of you. Behind you. If it's infinity, you're right there at the center of it. Come on back. Come on back into the room. You're at the center of everything. It's all available for you. Dr. Holmes says it this way. We'll do a call response. Let's go old school. Marion, where are you? Here we're going to go gospel for you. It's call and response, old school. Here's what Dr. Holmes says. There is one life.
There is one life.
That life is God. That life is my life.
That life is my life.
Now.
Think
about that. One life. You might hear it said, there's one life, that life is God's life. No. One life, that life is God. God doesn't have a life. God is God. You have a life. There's one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. See, if you claim that and really live that, say that to yourself over and over every day until you get this greater awareness of you as a co-creator of the divine. And when that great awareness comes to you, that floss will turn into an inch pipe, will turn into a 5-inch pipe, will turn into a Roman aqueduct of divine energy flowing through you. And you will be amazed at the stuff. You cannot lose with the stuff we use, I'm telling you, but you got to get it in you. And it comes from repeating these ideas over and over until we get the spiritual practice to know that we are not separated from anything, that everything that we need is available for us. It's reserved for us. It's right here, right now. You see, when you get this greater awareness of your co-creative nature with the divine, then you become a more efficient user of the power. Life becomes less scattered, become more directed and more purposive. And at that moment, you become a magnificent creator, an emanator, a person that allows the emergence to come through. See, Dr. Holmes says, it is a wonderful thought to realize that the eternal bounty can be short-circuited only as far as we are concerned. See, it's always there. The eternal bounty is always there, available for us, and we are the only ones that can cut that flow off. We're the only ones that can decide, and the only ones, period, in life that can decide. There is no daisy that can say, I am done with being a daisy, I want to be a rose. That's not how it works, you know? And the effort to do what we have to do is so simple and easy once we get into that God space. It's a part of allowing and opening. And when we allow and open, what begins to flow from that divine circuit is all the opportunities and substances and the supply and the conditions that are necessary for your good to unfold. People will conspire to bring it to you. And it just starts showing up. Shayna's doing this great event coming up on Friday, November 4th. And people are starting to come out of the woodwork. She's got some guy's going to make her signs for her who just likes her. Says, I'll make your signs for you. And then, somebody else is showing up that's going to do yoga for her. Yasa was going to do it and she had to be out of town or something. And somebody else showed up just like, I'll be happy to do it. You see, when all she had to do was come up with this idea, spiritual spa day. And then boom, people say, I'll help. That's how it works, you see. When you come up with the idea, then people start showing up to participate in it. Or you start seeing ways to get it to happen. Or not. You can short circuit it. It's up to you. Hey, that sounds like a book. I think Dr. Holmes wrote one. It's called It's Up to You. You should check it out. Now, the thing to do is to make your claim today. Make your claim today. You see, as we live well today, we ensure a better tomorrow. People say, live in the moment. Yeah, I'm all about living in the moment, but I like to have a goal. I like to have a plan so that I can inform what I'm doing today with that plan. And then it unfolds in a logical sequential order because we are living in time and space. And yes, the quantum theory world has kind of tossed that topic around, but most of us still are not quantum scientists. We're living in time and space. So you have a plan, but in your part of your plan, you've set that goal. Okay, that's done. That's set. And now I'm going to live today as fully and openly as possible. I'm going to live as present and aware in this day moment as possibly can. And that requires that you have to kind of take an assessment of your needs, your liabilities, your resources. Kind of like Ben Franklin, he knew what he needed. He needed to get up to the clouds. He looked around, what was his resources? Okay, so he had the key, and he had the string, and he had the silk scarf, so he could make a kite. And then he looked at his liabilities. Well, I don't want to get up on a tall building. I don't have one, but if I did, I might fall off. But it's as nice and safe right here on the ground, so I'll do it that way. That's how it happens. You kind of assess that. It's kind of the same thing with the loaves and the fishes. And I don't know if you believe in the Jesus story or not, but that's the element. That's what they're talking about. There's 5,000 people here. We got 3 or 4 loaves and a couple of fishes, and how are we going to feed them all? Let's see. This is what we got. My liability is that everybody's going to leave and nobody's going to hear my speech unless I feed them. So let me figure out how to feed them. Okay, thank you, Father. He gave thanks. See? So that's basically connecting. That's connecting your conduit pipe. So he gave thanks. Now he's got the consciousness of the Roman aqueduct. So boom, outflowed all this food and boom, they fed all these people. But the idea is really the same. The idea is connect to our source, have a strong connection. There's one life. That life is God. That life is my life now. Know that. I'm a co-creator. Know that. You've understood what your needs and resources are, and then you just go about doing the business. I know it sounds easy like from here, but it is as easy as changing the direction that you cut your grape. I mean, it's really very simple. The problem is we try to make it hard. Our brains start looking at what I can't do instead of what we can do. Let's go into the can-do space. Remember, success comes in cans, not in cannots. Dr. Holmes says, no matter how much good we experience today, we should expect more tomorrow. Expectancy is a very powerful thing. Having an expectation. That's why I said, live today, because you're going to make a better tomorrow out of it, but have a goal in mind. And so that as you're living in today, there's something pulling you toward that better tomorrow, you see. And in the process, of doing all this great stuff and connecting to God, be careful. Stay humble. Stay humble. Don't get too crazy about it. There was a lion sitting up on the mountaintop, and he sees this herd down below, and he decides, I think I'm going to go down there and chase that herd and get me something to eat. And he chases along, and this day he catches the bull. Right? And so he's chomping on this bull. He's so happy. He's like chomping on the bull. And he's so pleased with himself. He's like roaring every time he takes a chomp. And he's chewing some more. He's like, roar, every time he takes a chomp. Hunter comes along, bang, shoots the lion. You know why? Because if you say too much about how good you are, you might be full of bull. So, do I have a rim shot? But the whole idea here is make your claim, live in the divine good of who you really are. But sometimes we might just want to keep the thought to ourselves. Share it with those who share your belief and the sacredness of what you do. Be careful of the naysayers, because they're out there. There are people that are living in that doubt space. They don't live in the space of infinite possibilities where we live. They live in the space of infinite limitation, you know? And so if you're not careful, their bull might run into your joy. So just a word of caution as we make this journey into our good, as we move into the space. Because you are here. There's this big map, like at the mall, and then there's this you are here. And that's where we are. We are right here in this perfect place, this perfect launching place for whatever it is that we need to do in our lives. It may not look like it. We may feel somewhat reserved. We may feel like we're holding back. But remember, the word has two different meanings. Yeah, it's holding back, but we have a special space held just for us that is right here. So be persistent in your goals. Be persistent in the knowing that your good is attempting to unfold through you. Be persistent in the consciousness that lets you know that you are a co-creator of the divine. And then be patient. Take the time. Take the time to do the work. Because see, we are standing at that point of perfect emergence. So the universe is about emerging. All the good, all the things are conspiring for the next best thing to come from it. And it comes from having a deep conviction. And deep conviction equals faith. If we have the faith and have that larger concept of God, keep the big picture in mind, then we can step into what is reserved for us to do. Dr. Holmes says, we need to know there is a limitless abundance of all things good. And I love that quote comes from a book called Unlimited Living, because that's what I'm talking about. Going to a space of unlimited living, realizing that it's all here for you. And no matter how slowly you allow it to roll out, you have a reservation in this thing called life. And that reservation is calling you to your good and to your higher purpose. And so it is. We got some good stuff working for us. Let's do an affirmation, shall we? Feel it when you say this. Let it live in you. Here we go. I know and accept that everything, all the good, all the joy, all the peace and harmony of life is waiting for me, to which I say, yes. Take it. Yes, indeed. It's our prayer time today. Yes, when Spirit was, and when Spirit is, Spirit is now. My heart is wrapped around members of our community today who are moving through various aspects of life, just touching their heart space. I want to acknowledge that right now. And there are also members of our community that are celebrating moments of joy, of creation coming into fruition, ideas being made manifest. We celebrate both ends, and we know that it is an opportunity for God to unfold. If you have something that you're holding in your heart right now that is touching you in a soft space, allow that soft space to be held in mind right now. If there's something for which you're grateful, allow that to be in celebration. Stay in the gratitude. And as I know this truth, that the one life that is God's life, that is the life of each and every one of us here, is a perfect experience. Through the hurt, through the pain, through the joys and the celebration, life remains the same, moving forward and unfolding in wonderful and glorious ways. So we allow the love of the divine to soothe our hearts as we allow that same love to lift us up into moments of joyous exuberance. We stand in an exalted place, each and every one of us, and as I know this truth, and we all have that ability to step into the fullness of life, something happens, something transforms. Our step becomes lighter, our life becomes brighter, and the good becomes a regular, everyday experience. So I'm knowing that for each and every person here who's holding a thought in mind, for everyone who has a prayer in the prayer box, that infinite good is unfolding, that right action is unfolding, that divine guidance is happening, that limitation is falling away, and the exuberance and expectation of the good is arriving right now, this moment. I'm so grateful for the flow of divine spirit, for the conduit of God moving through each and every one of us into expression by means of us, allowing more God to be expressed because each and every one of us are here doing our thing, saying yes to that which we have been reserved to do. So it is from this place of knowing that I stand in gratitude for the power of prayer that allows us to know the truth and make it manifest in the lives of each and every individual we hold in mind at this moment. And it happens as we release these words into the law. And if you're feeling the movement of spirit right now, join me as we say, and so it is.